welcome into The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. If we do say so ourselves, my name is Graham Day, and I don't have to talk like this. It's just, it's just an executive decision that I chose, and I can't back it up, so I'll leave it now. I'm joined by the man that we call Bibby. I'll read Bib.
Good after morning, Graham. How are you doing?
It's not after morning. It's actual morning. That's how we're doing.
Yeah.
That's how we're doing. Yeah. The time is 11:47, which is basically 10 a.m.-ish, which is good because that's the time where we go live each and every single weekday with The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. If we do say so ourselves. Yeah. Anyway, we are here to give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. And we do that each and every single weekday, hopefully, usually, potentially. We'll see-ish. On twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. And we aim to go live at 10 a.m.
Ish.
We work in video games. We have a lot of video game stuff ongoing all the time. So sometimes, all the time, we don't hit the 10 a.m. So we have an issue, Mo. It's fine. Sorry, you get it. Everyone knows it. Understand it's good. We are here, though, as mentioned, to talk about the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories in the world of video games. We'll give you our thoughts and impressions on those stories, but we also want to hear your thoughts and impressions on your thoughts and impressions. So if you are watching on Twitch, and maybe you're listening on demand on YouTube or Spotify, whatever, please do feel free to get involved because, as mentioned, there is the live stream, but the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Play. There is lots of places where over 200,000 people have watched and listened to this podcast on demand, so please do feel free, if you're in the stream, to get involved on behalf of those people. Before we jump into the news, and we have quite a few stories, we've also just had the pre-show on Twitch, by the way, so if you do listen to this on demand and you want to hear a bit of the background to some of these stories or a bit of behind the scenes, please do feel free to join us on Twitch when we go live because you will hear that sort of stuff. We don't put that into the podcast to try and make it a bit more concise, but we have a bunch of stories mainly circulating around Xbox. There's been a lot of news, a lot of leaks, a lot of content, a lot of opinions, and we'll share ours on that too. But before we do, just a reminder that people that subscribe to this channel on Twitch get the pre-show, they get the full podcast live recordings, gameplay, and all that sort of stuff. You also get ad-free viewing and access to our remotes. But subscribers win prizes. Well, one does every month. Anyone that is a sub to the channel gets entered into the Loot Drop, which is a monthly giveaway that is exclusive for our Twitch community, our subs on Twitch. We appreciate you very much. We appreciate your support, so we want to give a little bit of something back. So anyone that does sub to the channel, like Precision did just 8 minutes ago with his 19-month sub, because he is a fucking shagger.
OP3.
OP3. Please do feel free to get involved. ! Loot Drop. As Tito has just typed in there, all subs, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and gifted subs all get entered into a giveaway. You just need to be in the Discord to claim them. Let's go. Also, shout out to all of our sponsors, ! Astro, ! GT Omega, ! Insert Coin, but also to Logitech G. We obviously are partnered with Astro because we wear Astro headsets, but as a result of that partnership, we are partnered with Logitech G too. We have Logitech G peripherals like mices and keyboards, but they released some new stuff yesterday. Please do feel free to check out our Twitter where we shared links to some of those, and you can save some money on those by using our code IceCream, #ad nice. Let's jump into the split screen. So, Mr. Bip.
Yes.
That's a very nice Ice Cream Uploads esports jersey that you've got on there.
Thank you very much, Graham.
If only you was wearing that in the studio yesterday, doing some behind-the-scenes green screen photo shots for future social media artwork or something, and if only I was wearing the exact same shirt for similar things.
Exactly. I mean, there may already be something that's being mocked up as we speak.
Nice.
So, interested to see what comes out of that. I tell you what, though, it's been a right pain in the ass to get rid of the green screen around us because of the light. And you can tell when we started to move the lighting closer to us because there's so much more green shadow that happens around us. But I've managed to get rid of most of it. It's fine. It looks good.
I believe in you. Okay, speaking about green, I'll use that to jump straight into this podcast because we have quite a lot of green news to talk about, green being Xbox. We have a bunch of stories to go through today. There is a lot out there, so we've chosen to leave a few stories on the curb for guys to discuss either in the Discord or whatever. People have already been talking about that stuff in the Discord already. Do feel free to jump in there, ! Discord if you're watching on Twitch. But, yeah, we only have an hour. We have all of the other news to cover too, which it's predominantly Xbox today, let's be honest. But we still couldn't fit it all in. So we've gone through some of it in a pre-show just to give you a little bit of a recap The things that we're going to talk about in this show, though, are Xbox. The next Xbox will revive the power of the cloud. That's according to Chris Scullion at VGC. We'll then jump over to Eurogamer, where Ed Nightingale says Phil Spencer describes Nintendo as the prime asset for Xbox to acquire. Ooh. Then we'll jump over to a game that we're very much looking forward to, Modern Warfare 3. It has open world zombies mode, which has been revealed, and it looks fucking badass. I am a big fan of cinematic trailers.
Spicy meatball.
That is a spicy meatball. Thank you very much, Tito. I appreciate that input. No one more. Let's go, baby. Let's go. So yes, I mean we work with the UK teams at Activision on Call of Duty as well, so we do get access to the game for free and stuff. We will be playing the Modern Warfare beta, which we have from Activision, so do feel free to take that as a hashtag ad, but the video actually looks pretty badass, so we'll jump through that before we tell you about the Xbox Game Pass wrap up for September. So free game Wednesday? Question mark? Nice. Okay, first story of the day. Mr. Bibb.
Yes.
You interested in the power of the cloud?
I am interested in the power of the cloud. I mean, especially with my super duper internet that never goes off and I have to replay a game just as I'm about to get into Division 3 over on eFootball. But no, the cloud is definitely a future that I am most certainly looking forward to.
I'm not going to lie, I was staring straight down the camera then when you was talking about internet going off. I thought that was a jab at me, not at your own internet from last night. I thought you was taking the piss.
Absolutely not.
Okay, jumping into it then, Chris Scullion at VGC says the next Xbox will revive the power of the cloud. Leaked internal documents reveal early details on Microsoft's next-gen plans. So there is a lot of news that's been leaked. We talked about in the pre-show, just in case you weren't around for that. Xbox has had an absolute barrage of information leaked, dropped onto the internet, because the Microsoft versus FTC case about Xbox buying Activision, so buying Call of Duty and all the rest of the stuff. Naturally, there was a big court case, and you get lots of information that's usually kept secret let out into the public. Despite that court case kind of finishing up, there was a document released or shared yesterday or day before, which had like basically hundreds of bits of information in it that people hadn't seen. So it's been leaked, but it's been provided to the courts as well. So it's leaked, but also kind of not leaked, but also definitely is leaked, but also we're not sure if we should be seeing it. So it's somewhere in there, which is why it's !spicy as Tito's just typed in. It is a spicy meatballs. So we'll jump into the article. Microsoft seemingly plans to harness the power of cloud processing in its next-gen Xbox console. The idea of using the cloud to calculate more processor-intensive calculations is one that Microsoft has been dabbling with for more than a decade now, with the company famously promising to implement it in Xbox One games. TV. The most notable example of its actual use in Xbox game today was the Wrecking Zone multiplayer mode in Crackdown 3, which used cloud-based processing to run the game's destruction model and sync it across all players' games. However, unredacted court documents published overnight, there we are. Seemingly in error, so kind of a leak, but not a leak, but is a leak, but isn't a leak. Included an internal Microsoft plan featuring early details of its next-gen console, and cloud processing appears to be a main focus again. The document lists the innovations introduced for each generation of Xbox, including Xbox Live for the original console, a digital store and connect for the Xbox 360, Game Pass for the Xbox One, and Project xCloud for the Xbox Series X and S. Under the next-gen console, the document says the main innovations will be cloud hybrid games and an, quote, immersive game and app platform, end quote. Another page in the document lists early ideas for the potential shape of next-gen gaming, including such topics as machine learning, AI, and scalable hardware architecture. One of the topics proposed is cloud-native / enhanced games. Microsoft's vision, according to the document, is to develop a next generation, this is a quote by the way, develop a next generation of hybrid game platform capable of leveraging the combined power of the client and cloud to deliver deeper immersion and entirely new classes of game experiences, end quote. It adds, quotes, optimized for real-time gameplay and creators, we will enable new levels of performance beyond the capabilities of the client hardware alone. Okay, we'll leave it there. So basically, Xbox wants to push everything forward by utilizing the cloud. They have a new console coming. One of the leaks that wasn't mentioned in the article is there is a new console. Well, there's a couple of things. There's a new console refresh potentially. I'll bring this up quickly on the screen. So this is apparently a new Xbox Series X refresh. It looks kind of like an Echo device, your Xbox Series X but round. That is rumored to be coming some point in 2024. And then potentially a brand new generation of Xbox consoles in 2028. And potentially the cloud in and amongst all of that with AI and all the rest. What are your thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
I wonder how cheap it's going to be. Because if this is solely going to be a streaming device, I don't know. I mean, obviously, because this is a leak, I don't have the exact capabilities of what this is going to be like. Is it just going to be a more powerful version of the Series S? Diskless base system, yeah, that's it. I don't necessarily know, but I mean, if this is something that you're able to download games to and play offline, fantastic, amazing. It's still great. I hate the fact that we are getting to a point in the future where we don't have discs and you just don't own anything anymore. Like, you could buy a physical disc, you can buy cases now off a shelf that has a code in there. So technically you don't own the game. They can just remove the license from you at any given point. Not that they would, but there is a future where that will happen. Like, there will just be an expiry on there. You've got stuff on your account and the license, you can't use it. Like, go ahead and try and play eFootball 22 now. Go ahead and try and play eFootball 23. You can't. The game doesn't exist anymore. Unless you still have it on your console and it's not connected to the internet, it doesn't have the opportunity to be able to say eFootball 23 this year updated to 24. Like, the whole title completely changed. Like, you can't download eFootball 23 anymore. It doesn't exist. That is the future I think that we're going to be heading in, which is a crying shame. But that is the future that we're heading in. It's just so much more user friendly, shall we say, for our everyday lives. That's just the way that we consume media. So this is where we're going to be getting to now. I feel like we've gone past the point of having a Fire Stick that had the ability to be able to stream, like Google Stadia, like using the Chromecast. We had the ability to be able to stream games via that. They've completely skipped that and gone for something a lot more powerful, which is cool, but we're going to pay for that. How much, I don't necessarily know yet. So it would work in my house, being able to stream this stuff. So if I had the capabilities of having a really small console that will just sit on the fireplace or something, and I'm able to just stream via xCloud or whatever the streaming service is called now. For me, it will forever be called xCloud. I ain't getting away from that. That's what they called it originally. That's what it still is to me. I'm happy with that stuff. It works in my house. I have the ability to be able to do that, no problems. There is houses like yours, for instance, that it might not be perfect, or there'll be millions up and down the country that don't even have access to super fast broadband or fiber broadband yet. So it would be completely useless to those. So I don't know. Who is this aimed at? Is this aimed at the 10%? What is it priced at? Because if it's over £300, no one's buying that, because you can buy a second-hand Xbox Series S for next to nothing and be able to do it that way. You can, I don't know, buy a tablet that's just as powerful as a mobile phone and be able to do it that way. Just HDMI up to your TV. Like, you don't need a console nowadays to be able to play the games that you want to play, especially through like Game Pass. So this needs to be priced accordingly, in my personal opinion. If it's maybe £150, £200, you can swallow that, no problems. That'll be fun. That'll be a fantastic price point to get this into people's hands. But apart from that, I don't necessarily know who this is genuinely intended at.
Yeah, Tito's mentioned something in the chat. He's mentioned, I'm not interested in the cloud. I only want some sort of portal device that costs, I don't know, around £300 and requires my Xbox, along with a proprietary wireless headset that costs another £200. It's basically taking the piss out of PlayStation's ingenious design that's clearly just way ahead of its time and absolutely not an overpriced pile of shit. Maybe it is, I don't know. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Xbox wants to revive the power of the cloud. It wants to use the cloud to take away some of the computational stuff so that you can experience new experiences, things that video games you've never been able to do before, because your console can only do so much. And if the console can lean on the cloud whilst doing all of its stuff, and the cloud does its stuff, and they work in synchronicity, then you've got wonderful stuff, because the power of the cloud then is not restricted to your hardware. So you've got your box at home that does its 70%, but that 30% at the end could, in theory, get bigger and better over time as they increase the quality and the capacity of what the cloud stuff throws in. So you change the scope of gaming. What's the word I'm looking for? Endlessly. Like you can't put a cap on what that could be in theory, which is amazing. It is amazing in itself. But if you're leaning on the cloud for a lot, then surely that brings the size of the hardware down. You don't need something that's the size of a Series X or heaven forbid, a PS5, because that's a fucking big old chunky boy. You want something a bit smaller, and if it's smaller and it's not doing as much, then surely it gets cheaper and it makes home gaming fine, and then the whole world just leans more on its subscriptions, which is where Xbox is going with its Game Pass stuff. So in that sort of sense, it sounds wonderful. It sounds like the future, and it almost sounds like the future is now. So it kind of makes sense. But then we start to see, like, if I jump back into this article from The Verge, Microsoft is planning to refresh its Series X console in 2024 with an all-new design and features. Codenamed Brooklyn, the unannounced console refresh has been accidentally revealed. Basically, it's a discless 4K Gen 9 console. Gen 9, for those that don't know, is PS5 and Xbox and similar consoles. Not the Switch, that's a Gen 8 console. But yeah, so it's not next gen, it's current gen 9 console, but with updated tech and stuff. But they want to throw in things like a new Xbox controller, which has have not fully read this, so I may be summarizing this wrong. If you have read it and do say something wrong, please do feel free to correct me. But it's got like all sorts of haptic feedback, which is stolen from PlayStation, you know, because that's fucking great. But it's supposed to be more of a smarter controller. You can play on multiple devices at once. You can switch between different devices. I don't know whether that means like going from a tablet or a mobile, or if, I don't know, Xbox is bringing some other mobile device in, or just two consoles. Maybe you've got a streamy console or something. Lift to wake sort of functionalities I've seen mentioned somewhere as well. So if you, there you go. Engage and delight, lift to wake, so you pick up your controller and your Xbox knows that you're using it, so your Xbox turns on, kind of like smart. So there's that sort of cool stuff in it. Some of that stuff points to it working with a cloud-based device. So if you've got your controller and a cloud-based setup, which could just be off of an iPad, could be off of a Xbox glass, like sort of tablet screen, off your PC, whatever. But it also has elements of it tying itself to a central box as well. So, like, if you're playing on an iPad, the lift to wake stuff doesn't become as useful, and like, yeah, I don't know where we go with this. So, I am intrigued to see a new Xbox console potentially next year. Not interested in buying one. Mid-gen refresh for this generation does not fuss me, especially, and this is said without the fanboy banter, especially for an Xbox, because there is nothing for me to get my Series X upgraded for. Starfield is there, and it will play exceptional on it.
Yeah.
I don't need to push that beyond that. And if I did, I won't do it just for that one game. If there was a bunch of games landing at the same time, so mid-gen refreshers, okay, that's probably planned for a million years ago. When they planned that in, they probably expected Halo to be the best game in the world, Redfall to be this wonderful banger, and all the other stuff that hasn't quite landed. But yeah, overall it leaves me in a place where I'm not really sure what to think. We've got 4 years left of this generation, and arguably, because of COVID and because of delays to games and so on, this generation, until this year, hadn't really started. This year, we've had Diablo 4, Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield. We've got a Spider-Man game coming soon. Call of Duty is setting things alight again, and all the other games that are out there that people want to get excited about. We're only just getting to that level of consistency this year. And we've only got 4 years left of the generation. That just seems kind of bizarre to me. So that 2028 of game consoles being refreshed, I feel like that goes back unless we do see the power of the cloud immersed and integrated into the current generation at some point.
I fully agree. I feel like the more advanced the technology becomes between now and then, I feel like it might... Because what they don't want to do is release something that's already outdated. So trying to stay on top of the technology would be super beneficial. I think that's essentially why we had to wait so long between the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, because they didn't think that they wanted to release something that wasn't quite ready, or it was already going to be outdated. So I feel like that is just. I feel like there is going to be longer between console generations now, because why would the need to keep on releasing something that requires super duper hardware when the heavy lifting can be done elsewhere? Like, I've literally, what Tito's just said there has just forced me to Google something myself. So he's just put, you can actually switch between devices on the current Xbox controller. For context, by double tapping the sync button, you can switch between two devices. I have my laptop and my console synced. I didn't know that, which then gave me the idea of, oh, I wonder if my LG TV downstairs has an Xbox Game Pass app. It didn't do, and it still hasn't. But if you go to the browser on your TV, you can access it that way. I didn't know that, so now I might have the ability already to be able to stream Xbox Game Pass on my LG TV downstairs that I didn't even know that I could do, which is definitely something I'm going to be trying out. But again, why would I need to buy an Xbox in my house if the heavy lifting can be done elsewhere on a server somewhere with my super fast internet that I am then able to play those games already? Like, I genuinely thought we would already had some sort of Fire Stick-esque type device. There was a conference maybe 2 years ago now when they started to release what the Xbox was going to look like. And I think it might have been Phil Spencer at home, where people thought that there was going to be a very small dongle, maybe the same size as like this USB card reader or whatever, we just sat, that looks like an Xbox Series S, was just sat on a shelf somewhere, and people thought that that was going to be a streaming stick. That would have been perfect. That would have been ideal for people who are traveling up and down the country, or going abroad, or just don't want something big and clunky in the house and have the ability to be able to stream games. I thought that that would have been perfect. 100 quid, maybe 150 if you want a controller with it as well, and you're off. You're good to go. Subscription service, they've continuously got your money coming through the door. I still can't believe we haven't got to that point yet, but with most things having an Xbox Game Pass app, they probably don't think that they need to. I still think it would be a cool piece of tech for people to be able to invest in, as hardware is always king in my opinion. So yeah.
Well, Tito says
that
was the streaming box, baby. It was canned over cost. So there you go. Our Xbox bot. I keep saying the word. Okay, Xbox boss. In the chat, Tito. Yeah. So the Tito did. To come back to the bit that Bibby just said, you can actually switch between devices on the current one. Double tapping the sync button can switch between two devices. I have my laptop and console synced. Not a lot of people know that. See, I knew there was something. I couldn't have told you how to do it. But the way that is being updated on the new Xbox controller, the one that's obviously in the leaked documents, is seamless pair and switch. This is a bulleted list. New mobile app features, see pair devices and cloud, manage devices and accessories. So rather than just double tap and flip between the two, you could have it on multiple, and you can disconnect or reconnect based off the mobile app. You just go, fuck it, connect to my TV, connect to my Xbox Series X, actually to my S, no to my laptop or my PC or whatever, which is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. The fact that you can have the one controller that rules them all, yes please. I don't think the Series X has been pushed to its max potential yet, because Xbox One is being catered for. Previous gens always hold gens back. 100%. The sooner we see the last gens dropped, the more we see the next gen move. Mm-hmm. The issue is that that's taking a bit longer because people haven't been able to buy into this generation as fast because of slow supply, plus COVID and that delaying games, which means there's not enough consoles in people's hands to justify the Switch entirely, and there's not enough games that have been finished, so we're getting more later that would have been out earlier, allowing us to switch. So we're at the kind of the tipping point now. We'll start to see things dropping off and just starting to be Series X, Series S, or PS5 on the other side of the console war, because people need to push things forward. And that is why I think 2028 would have been a reasonable sort of window. For me right now, 2028 is a bit too soon. That said, just because we haven't been able to get our hands on consoles and video games haven't been able to be pushed to their potential, hardware doesn't stop advancing. Technically, whilst we had some really good advancements in consoles, it was SSDs, which were pretty common, really. It was adding in software functions like ray tracing and DLSS to allow you to get more out of it. That stuff has been moving at a pace continuously. So even though some people may still not have a next gen or current gen, Gagad's gen, your gen, my generation, we don't. Okay, you get it. Because some people still don't have current generation hardware doesn't mean that stuff hasn't kept moving. DLSS is fucking flying to the point where it's rumored to be a Nintendo Switch now, and that's going to be doing shitloads of heavy lifting so that you don't get things looking like Mortal Kombat does on Nintendo Switch, which we were looking at yesterday. Yikes. So,
yikes.
So, yeah, packaging all this back up. Whatever it is, it's going to be good. Xbox clearly have shitloads in the pipeline. Using cloud tech, which arguably they are in the best place to do that from a console perspective. PlayStation is nowhere near. Xbox is light years ahead because they've got their own Azure platforms. The closest you'll probably get with that is Amazon, who haven't really done anything with Luna or their own game stuff since New World. We got an update to New World. Great, but not much else really. So their cloud stuff is going to be phenomenal. They've got mid-generation refreshes and improvements there already, so they're capitalizing on that new hardware sort of stuff right now. So we'll get the Xbox One X enhanced sort of stuff, but for the Series X consoles and so on, you'll get that sort of stuff, no doubt. And they've already got plans for the next generation. So Call of Duty, Activision, all that sort of stuff, and numerous different avenues for Xbox to move forward. The future definitely is bright if you are an Xbox subscriber, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Whether it's 4 years left of the gen or more, yeah, it's going to be good. Seems a bit soon for a new console, although they might make games for both current and new for a few years while they build up the game library and new console. Yeah, it'll be same again. I think we'll have a probably another 2 or 3 year transition period minimum for the next generation as well, because people will only just be buying into this one. And for expense at that price, a lot of people can't justify throwing down 500 quid for a toy. It's a console, it's not a toy, but it is a toy. And then 5 minutes later, even though it might be 5 years later, it's still, I've only just bought you that one. You were just buying new games for it last week. Why do you want a new one? It still works, and people still have that mindset. That's not obviously how hardware works and things, but yeah. So you will have a transition window. It really hasn't. Tito says Lake, talking about not using the top end of the hardware yet. And I'll never forget how Red Dead Redemption 2 had a moon behind the mountains and trees looked like, and it was stunning, and the future of X. Yeah, some games look fucking phenomenal. Some games not as much. And some games that have had negatives about how they look, like Starfield, wouldn't even be playable on other bits of hardware. So you might some of them will look stunning, some of them just exist because of that hardware. So the longer that we have to factor in the old hardware, the less likely it will be existing. God help G if Xbox does go cloud gaming and his Sky is still not sorted. Fucking tell me about it, mate. Oh, Cat Ski. I don't know how to read that. 89. Thank you very much for the follow 28 minutes ago. I did mean to shout that out, but got distracted with all the news. I appreciate you dropping the follow. Yeah, that was actually a good point. To wrap things up on that, I did see a comment. For anyone that doesn't know, everyone that's new here, my internet is dog shit, and it goes down all the time. Hopefully we're getting that fixed in the next 5 hours. Fingers crossed. It probably won't, but fingers crossed. But yeah, my issues come because of my home network using Sky Q, having one of the first generation boxes, but the entire Sky network across the whole of the UK went down yesterday. Anyone that had Sky would have lost internet from about 10:30 till, I don't know, midnight-ish, maybe longer. I don't know when it came back up again. And I did see someone posting a comment about that, saying, see, everyone's having problems with Sky, and this is why the problem with having an entirely online system is shit. And he wasn't talking about Xbox Cloud or Stadia or Luna or anything like that. He was talking about Sky TV. Sky has something called Sky Glass. You don't have a hard drive. You have your TV. Everything comes through the signal. You don't store any stuff on your TV. Like, so if you've got a Sky Q, you like a TV program, you hit record, it saves it to your box, and you can watch it even if you've not got a connection. Sky Glass doesn't do that. It's all through the cloud. So he's like, so you've sold me on this wonderful fucking Sky Glass, all online, do it through the cloud stuff, and then you cut me off. What am I supposed to do here? So that is the only negative of that super machine learning cloud-based future, is not only is it all online in digital subscriptions, so you never really own anything and it can be taken away from you at any point in time, but it can be taken away from you without a moment's notice depending on infrastructure as well. So
get the DVD player out.
Goddamn right.
Watching fucking no one's bought a DVD in like the last 10 years maybe. maybe watching reruns of Phoenix Nights or something like that.
It's a shame. It used to be the go-to, like, oh fuck it, I can't think of get some. Just buy DVD. Go to HMV, buy it like 3 for $10 or whatever. That's it. You got 3 presents. Bosh.
Yeah, well, Hyde is still a shithole that they actually still have DVD stores.
Nice.
Like there is, you can go in there and buy 4 DVDs for like £1. Do you know what I mean? But
nice.
yeah, I have to crack that out.
Mrs. Webby. Hey.
How you doing? Welcome in.
We are talking about lots of Xbox news. We've just been talking about new Xbox consoles and so on. There was a bunch of leaks for Xbox news over the last week, and we're going to jump into the next story, which sticks with Xbox. This time from Ed Nightingale at Eurogamer, and it says Phil Spencer describes Nintendo as, quote, the, capitalized the prime asset for Xbox to acquire. Quote, getting Nintendo would be a career moment, end quote. So Phil Spencer, rewind that and try again. Phil Spencer described Nintendo as the prime asset in a leaked internal email concerning possible Microsoft acquisitions. The email chain sent in 2020, so 3 years ago, between Spencer, Chief Marketing Officer Chris Capasela, and Commercial Chief Marketing Officer Takeshi Numoto, discusses the possibility of acquiring Nintendo at some point in the future, with Numoto initially noting Nintendo's, quote, rich set of franchises, end quote. I totally agree that Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming, and today gaming is our most likely path to consumer relevance, replied Spencer. Spencer went on to claim that, quote, if any US company would have a chance with Nintendo, we are probably in the best position, though note Nintendo is sitting on a big pile of cash, which would make acquisition difficult. As a result, Spencer noted, quote, I don't think a hostile action would be a good move, but added, we are playing the long game. It's unclear just how long that might be. Spencer's email adds, at some point, getting Nintendo would be a career moment, and I honestly believe a good move for both companies. It's just taken a long time for Nintendo to see that their future exists off their own hardware. A long time. Look at the ego there. I mean, it's a career moment. Buying this thing would be the best thing I've ever done in my career. And then going, we just need them to realise that they're shit and we're great. Sheesh. Okay, we'll leave it there. You get the idea. We don't need to go any further. Nintendo, 3 years ago, was the talking point for Xbox. They would like to buy it. It has a lot of value. It's got a bunch of good games. They just need to realise that their hardware is shit, is the gist of it. That's paraphrasing. Read it between the lines. Mr. Babe, what are your thoughts?
I want to know what capacity that they think they're going to be getting into bed with Nintendo, though. Do they think that they're going to be able to release Nintendo games over on Xbox? Or are they literally just using them to be able to put maybe their first-party Xbox games over on the Nintendo Switch? Or are they literally just going to use it as a Game Pass machine? I know we've mentioned this a million times on this podcast. There was some really heavy leaks coming out, maybe 6 or 7 months ago, maybe even a little bit longer, that there was an agreement on the table to bring the likes of Game Pass over onto the Nintendo Switch that never came to fruition. So is this just what he wants to be able to try and do, get Xbox Game Pass on everything? Because then you have the Nintendo audience to be able to pay for a subscription, whether or not it be Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or just a Nintendo version like they do with the PC, where you can just buy a PC version of Game Pass. Like, at what end is this does he want this deal to take place? Because bringing Xbox games over to the Nintendo Switch would be good, because obviously that having the likes of Forza be on the Nintendo Switch would definitely fill the large gap on that console for a racing game that isn't Mario Kart. As I can think of, maybe Alpha Asphalt 6, I think it's called, over on there, and they've maybe had a few World Rally Championships, but in terms of like a proper full-blown open-world racing game, I can't think of one that's on the Nintendo Switch, not one that comes to mind anyway. So are they going to be bringing some first-person shooters? Because there is a couple that's on there, not any of decent merit, as far as I'm aware. Maybe Warface, which is not a very good game at all, but it's on there as a first-person shooter. I don't know.
For me,
there was, yeah, go on.
I can say for me, it is buying it and yeeting their hardware. That's what it is. It's okay. Nintendo is great, but we will make an Xbox Switch, an X-Bitch. That's what we'll call it. It's like a mix between the two. We'll make the X-Bitch, and that can be your portable home like version. It's basically the PlayStation Portal, but with a different sort of angle to it. So we'll make the X bitch be that thing. We'll buy Nintendo, get rid of the hardware, because Nintendo's hardware does the job, but nobody in the world thinks this is the best handheld device I have ever played on for any aspect of the Switch. The controllers are clunky, the screens are okay, but aren't superb. Steam Deck and ROG Allies are better, and you get lighter, more enjoyable experiences off of things like the Logitech G Cloud, none of which are perfect for your fully rounded do-everything device. The Switch probably still beats it, but mainly because of that game catalog. The fact that you do get Mario, you do get Zelda, you do get Donkey Kong, you do get the full Pokemon history and all of the stuff like that, plus the weird-ass Nintendo decisions that comes with that, of like making some games available on digital console things, emulator jobbies, some not, and like Microsoft would just go, okay, well, let's just get rid of this weird jumpy clickety clackety. We'll have that game available, but not that one. We'll have this series available, but not that one. We'll have some SNES games, but not others. We'll have some NES games, but not others. Microsoft will just go, fuck it, we'll just develop all of that shit so people can buy it. We will work with you. You will make your games, but Pokemon won't be the worst developed games that the world has ever seen. Just the other day, I was listening to Tim Geddes from Kind of Funny talking about playing Pokemon. There was some the new DLC for Scarlet and Violet came out, and he was saying, like, because we've come so far with hardware on things like PC, PS5, Xbox, you're used to these fully wonderful digital scapes and so on. And he says, and it's not just a case of you dropping down from 60 FPS to 3 or whatever on the Switch. It's the fact that you've got like jarring, like geometric popping things that are just intersecting with each other, really badly developed. And I do agree with, from Xbox perspective, it is a bit like ego to say, if only Xbox realized that the best way, it's just taking a long time for Nintendo to see that their future exists off of their own hardware, is what their words are, which it seems a bit ego, but it's true. If you took Pokemon and put that onto an Xbox, imagine the possibilities. Imagine how good that could be with full Bethesda teams working on it. Like, imagine. So Phil Spencer does have a good point. However, he does say somewhere in there that they're sitting on a big pile of cash. So if Activision is 69 billion, Nintendo is more. I know Activision has the biggest selling games annually, but Nintendo has to be more. What we're talking, 100 billion to buy that? Can they afford that? Is buying a first party, is that too far for the FTC to go, yeah, okay, we're going to let that one go? So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I don't think Nintendo is there to be bought, not just yet. I feel 10 years ago, like when we were in that weird window where the Wii U was just a bit gash, people had dropped off the fad of the Wii U, then yeah, maybe then. Right now with the Switch and the excitement for the Switch 2, Nintendo's not there to be bought anymore. Not realistically for many, many companies. So if anyone could do it, Microsoft. I definitely don't. Even though Sony has the Japanese in, they don't have the Microsoft cash that Xbox does. So yeah, interesting one. It's a good point though. Nintendo is the prime asset to buy. Imagine fucking doing the 151. Get Pokemon Red. Get another Pokemon Red /Blue/Yellow remake, but full fucking like over the shoulder third person with the same sort of graphics that you'd see on a fucking Starfield or on a Resident Evil, something that's like modern over the shoulder TPP experience kind of thing. I said Resident Evil because I was thinking monsters running around. Maybe a little bit different from Pokemon, but imagine that. Oh.
I'd love like a horror version of it. No, maybe not necessarily horror, but just like a Halloween version of it where it's just all ghost Pokemon. It's over the shoulder. It's quite, the color template isn't fucking bright and green and red and all these really nice colors that they tend to use, obviously because it's much more appealing to a younger audience, but something that's really gritty, dark. I don't know. In what's the forest called where the Pokemon go to die?
Can't remember.
But yeah, something that it's like based around that, but the forest is fucking massive, and it's at night. It's really gritty. I'd love all that. I would love that, even if it was just like a 4-hour experience. Doesn't have to be anything super long, but just having something like that nice little change of pace. I reckon they would absolutely eat that up.
Yeah, like fucking.
What's the Pokemon graveyard called?
Going round Mount Moon where you've got your Zubats and your whatever, I can't remember, Golbats and all the rest of the other dark, scary Pokemon, that sort of shit. But
what did you just say then? What was the place called? The tower where the Pokemon are?
Oh, I said Mount Moon, which was the one where you get the moonstones early on in the game kind of thing.
I can't remember what was it. Oh, it's got to be one of the earlier Pokemon, but you had to do. There was a part of them. One of the part of the story was you had to go to a tower, and it's where there was basically. It was a graveyard inside a building that had all the dead Pokemon, and I can't remember what the building was called, but just having it like that would be amazing. It's really grim, really morbid, but I feel like that would be a nice change of pace.
Lavender Town is a village that can be visited in Pokemon Red, Green, Blue, Yellow, and sequels Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and remakes for
Lavender Town.
It has a burial ground for deceased Pokemon, and is a location to find ghost-type Pokemon. There you go.
That's the one. That's where they should base it. Yeah, we've got it. We'll sell the idea. We'll create a pitch.
Okay, yeah,
this is it. This is the one.
Just call it Lavender. No Pokemon. Just call it Lavender, or even just Pokemon Lavender Town, or something like that. That's all you needed to fucking You get PT vibes. We'll call it LT, Lavender Town. PT LT. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. Okay, so Nintendo is we've just cracked it for you as well, Microsoft. You're welcome. We'll just send us a couple of royalties. Nintendo is the prime asset to buy from Xbox. Dylan, welcome in. He says, I love Xbox, but they better stay away from my beloved Nintendo games. Goddamn right, get out of here. I hope they don't, because it's just it. Do you know what? I hope they do. Fuck it. I hope they do, because I'm more likely to play Nintendo games if they're on an Xbox, and we're more likely to get the stupid decisions that just don't seem to happen. Like the print money exclusive license that is a full third person wandering around the world, seeing Pokemon in the wild Pokemon games. I know hardware has made them advance a little bit that way, but an open world sandboxy sort of game, sort of stuff, proper imagine some of the stuff you've seen people mod into GTA. If we were playing the game on an Xbox and a PC, it'd be so much easier to see that sort of shit. So yes, please. PlayStation will come out now and try by Nintendo now that they hear Xbox wants it. Well, there was a thing. There was a thing. There's a thing in Japanese business, and I could be misquoting this because it's a while since we went over it. But Japanese business is protected by Japanese businesses, and that is, think of it as think of your top 10 Japanese businesses. All of the shareholders of those businesses will give a percentage to other people in that circle. So let's use Nintendo and Konami as examples, and the numbers are completely balked because I'm just picking these off my ass. But let's say Konami owns 50% of Konami, but then they give 25% to Nintendo, and they give 25% to Capcom or something like that. And Capcom, same, they keep 50%, but they give the other bits to everyone. But they all do that across each other in the group. And the reason for that is for Japanese businesses to not be able to be bought by businesses outside of Japan. Japan keeps its own industry. Nobody can take it away from them. And that is something that happens culturally, business-wise, and all sorts of other things. So for someone to come in and buy one of those businesses, it's not just a case of wallet on the desk. Phil Spencer whops it out and goes, that's it, Nintendo. Get your coat, love. You come with me. You can't just do that sort of shit, because Nintendo go, yeah, but I'm actually engaged to Capcom and Konami at the same time. So, yeah. And it's like, okay, well, can they come with me? And they go, no. And so Phil Spencer awkwardly picks up his wallet and then leaves the room again. It's like, oh no. But for someone like PlayStation, if they were to come in, they are a Japanese company. They could go, look, lads, before I tell you what I'm saying, we're all in the same group. Just sent you a message in the WhatsApp. Can I take Nintendo with me? They're more likely to go with that. So there was rumors, not rumors, there was conversations a few years ago that Xbox wanted to get Nintendo, but PlayStation are better suited culturally, socially, geographically to pick up Nintendo ahead of Xbox, which is fascinating as fuck, that the company's just going like, what's the phrase from Fast and Furious 2? Gaijin, outsiders. It's full on Gaijin protection. We don't want outsiders coming in and taking our good shit. We want this to be our sort of shit. So it's fascinating to see that put in there, because for all intents and purposes, $100 billion is a nice chunk of change. But the fact that the country's going, yeah, that's $100 billion. We'll earn $100 billion in 10 years. So what we're going to do then? So okay, so interestings. And then the other thing, because David just said, ask Logan Paul, he'll know the forest. Lol. Yikes! Multiple levels. Sheesh. West, thank you for 36 months. That's 3 whole years. You sexy man.
Oof.
I love you.
As if it's been that long.
I know.
At times, it's ridiculous. I don't like it. It needs to stop.
An actual sentence, though. 3 years looking after West on the internet. Yikes.
And we've only been in each other's company maybe 4 times in 3 years, which is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, like, so obviously at Rumble, and the meetup, and then
you met him for drinks.
Yeah, so that's 3. Is it just 3?
Oh, it might be just 3. You know. Yeah,
wow.
He didn't come so far back, did he? That's a joke.
Wow.
That genuinely is a joke. We genuinely need to make a point of like having 2 meetups a year or something.
1 per year, in that sort of sense. If it's 3, format. Oh no, West did come to format.
Oh yeah,
he did because he had his jacket on and he got it nabbed.
Yeah,
because he hates us and doesn't want to wear the jacket anymore.
Did he actually get it stolen? I did not know that.
No, he passed it on to El Mixer to wear because she was cold and stuff. So
did he get it back?
Yeah, he didn't on the night. I don't know whether he did eventually. I'm assuming he did, because if he didn't, I'm sending the boys down. West's one of the boys, so this is awkward.
Yes, someone's definitely getting the back door kicked in.
I've got it back now. There you go. Nice.
Hey.
Nice. 4 times, some would say that's a godsend. It arrived back last week, and so it should.
Oh my God.
Honestly, they got the money's worth out of it. Sheesh.
Absolutely.
Like Displux clearly had like a job interview or something, and they needed something snazzy to wear. It's like, so I'll keep that one for the job interview period. Make sure I've got first and second and third interviews potentially, so I'll keep all of it until it's done. So
black tie events.
Yeah,
walking in with that bad boy.
So yes, anyway, we're talking about Nintendo being the prime asset for Xbox to buy. Agreed. But they're not going to get it, so mind your own business. What they did get, though, was Call of Duty, and that includes Modern Warfare 3's open world Zombies mode, which has been revealed. Tom Ivan at VGC has this, and it says Zombies makes its debut in the Modern Warfare series this November. So this is an interesting one for me, because I've said all along, I'm not the biggest Zombies player. I've played pretty much every one, I think. Apart from if there was something in Cold War. I think there was something in Cold War. I didn't play that one. That's the only one I didn't play. So I've got memories of Zombies, some cool ones. It's generally a horde mode sort of thing, which I'm not interested in. But this fucking trailer is badass. It is really good. So Activision has revealed a Call of Duty. Actually, let me. I'll come back to the trailer because I can't play it inside the article because it's age restricted, so I'll come back to that in a second. But Activision has revealed Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Zombies mode. Zombies creator and Black Ops studio Treyarch is leading development of the mode, which is making its first appearance in Call of Duty's Modern Warfare sub-series. A cinematic reveal trailer for the open world experience, which challenges players to team up with other squads to fight the undead, is viewable below. Quote, prepared to face off against a greater quantity of undead than ever before as the members of Operation Deadbolt embark on difficult and multi-stage tasks as Soap and company attempt to stop Zakhaev and Terminus from plundering more resources, all while attempting to contain the current threat before it spreads out of control, Activision said in an accompanying blog. Quote, combining the very best of Modern Warfare map features and systems with the tried and true core features of Treyarch Zombies, Modern Warfare Zombies presents an all-new twist on the fan favourite third game mode, launching alongside the campaign and multiplayer when Modern Warfare 3 releases. Okay, we'll stop there. Have you watched this trailer, babe?
I have, yeah.
Thoughts?
Badass. Yeah, it's badass. I'm in a similar situation with you. I think I've probably played collectively maybe about 20 hours of Zombies. It's not the first thing that I think of when I want to be able to jump in and play some Call of Duty. It's probably 3rd or 4th in the list. But I'm willing to. I say I'm willing, and no one's going to be forcing me. Well, I'm willing to jump on and give this a good old go, like I am with every single Call of Duty mode. Like I've only recently got into playing Warzone. It was probably the bottom of the list in terms of battle royale games that I'm super interested in jumping on. But it's starting to move up the pecking order now. I still think DMZ is the best mode in Call of Duty currently. I think it has been for the last 12 to 18 months. I love the good old team deathmatch. I love old search and destroy.
Let me just stop you for just a second. Because I'm playing this in YouTube view, but I've not gone full screen. And obviously it gives you a bunch of recommended videos down the side, Dr. Disrespect and stuff in there. Uma Thurman explains Quentin Tarantino's dildo punishment. Which is
what have you been watching?
It's a Conan O'Brien. This is Ice Cream Uploads. You're on this channel more than me, so you've clearly been watching Conan O'Brien or dildos.
I mean, moving swiftly on.
You know what? Well, let's go full screen. Just get rid of all that sort of shit.
Moving swiftly on. But yeah, I mean, the Call of Duty always do amazing trailers. Let's be honest. When it comes to selling the game, they do it extremely well. Sometimes they might end up selling the same product in terms of what it looks like and stuff. But what they're selling with this trailer, it looks fantastic. And again, I'm more than interested in jumping in to give it a go. I might end up playing 4 or 5 hours of it. But yeah, the trailer is absolute dynamite. I can see it on the on the screen now. It is
fucking badass. Like, we're talking over this, you can't quite hear it and stuff. It is so good. Call of Duty always do good cinematics, and this cinematic is badass. It's got like breach moments. It's got all-out warfare moments. Fucking that vial in his hand, you've got like the Resident Evil sort of T-virus vibes here where he's throwing it. I don't actually know what they call the virus in the zombie modes, but yeah, anyway, the whole thing looks pretty cool, and it gives you some lore / backstory as to where the zombies have come from in this game. I mean, the story the games have had that before, although the stories, I believe, are quite, because it's a bit silly. It's zombies in a war game for no real reason apart from we've just made it. So the stories aren't necessarily lore in terms of canon. They do change across game to game. There is no real canon for the zombies, but for Modern Warfare, this is the first time they've made a canon for it, which, or at least it seems it. And that bit there where that dude just looks up, let me come back to that and turn the volume up. That just reminds me of Black Ops. This noise. Anyway, I think we're back. We good? Nice. Yeah, we're back. Okay, let me kill the zombies trailer. If you haven't seen it, genuinely, what I was saying was the Call of Duty Zombies trailer looks incredible. I'm not the biggest fan of zombies, but I am a big fan of Call of Duty cinematics. And the bit I was saying then at the end is, I just don't understand why they've not done what CD Projekt have done. They brought us, I can't remember the name of it. I keep calling it Phantom Liberty, but that's the new DLC with Idris Elba. They brought us a Netflix series which fucking put Cyberpunk on the map after it threw itself off the map. I just don't understand how Call of Duty has cinematographers and animated people, nice, that can make things that look that good. Edge runners, is that what it was called? That's what I thought. Welcome in, Luke. It's been a while. How you doing? Hey. I don't understand how they aren't making content for video platforms outside of their core video game experiences, because there's characters, particularly in the Modern Warfare world, that people recognize and resonate with. They have the ability to build in some intense, deep lore with existing characters and just put the game into... I hate to use the word mainstream, because video games are mainstream, but we saw Cyberpunk go from being an overwhelming video game success to a mainstream success when it hit Netflix, and we saw the same thing with The Witcher. So video games are mainstream, but they're not entirely mainstream, and I feel like Call of Duty missing a clip there, because this video is badass. And if you are interested in Call of Duty Zombies, to an extent that's probably a bit more than I would be usually, then you're probably in for a very, very good year with Call of Duty Zombies, because it looks badass. It looks like they've put a lot of effort into it, and factor in the fact that Call of Duty is made by Activision and Treyarch, who usually work on a full Call of Duty, haven't done that this year. They have just worked on the zombies mode. That means this has got to be the best zombies mode ever, right? If that whole fucking team have been working on the... Nice. Okay, speaking of nice, last news article. We'll jump into this one quickly before my internet shits the bed again. This is written by Liv... I don't know how to pronounce this. I don't know if it's Ngan or Ngan. I don't know if it's like one we've had this conversation before. So, Liv, I apologise for... we'll just call you Liv, because I don't want to get wrong. So, Liv over at Eurogamer is the cycle that says Xbox Game Pass sees September out with plenty of day one additions, Lies of P, Party Animals, and PD3. So Xbox has announced the next wave of games to join the Game Pass library. The second half of September is chock full of games available on day one with Game Pass, including Souls-like Lies of P, which is already out on cloud, console, and PC. We gave it a 3 out of 5 stars in our review. Kaylee Selling called it, quote, an enjoyable experience for those in need of a FromSoft fix. Tomorrow, multiplayer game Party Animals, Do it. Joins Game Pass on day one on cloud and console. I had a blast playing Party Animals with Ed and Victoria for a preview a few months back. It's difficult not to enjoy a game with cute animals, floppy physics, and oversized weapons. Look at it. Looks fucking amazing. Later this week, Payday 3 will join Game Pass on day one on the 21st of September for Xbox Series X and S, Cloud, and PC. Ian went hands-on with Payday 3 back in June and found developer Starbreeze has made huge improvements to the series formula. On the 29th of September, recursive puzzle game Cocoon will be available to play on day one on console and PC. Cocoon is held. Do you know how much I'm going to skip forward? 3rd of October sees 2 more games joining Game Pass. The Lamplighters League, a turn-based strategy game from the developer of Battletech and the Shadowrun series. Also on the 3rd of October is last year's Gotham Knights, which got a mixed response. This month's Game Pass leavers have already been noted, including Weird West, who's in our chat, Proteus, and Outriders. I see Bibby's laughing, you can't see it. Nice, I'll take that one. If you want to purchase any of them, you got until the end of the month to pick up these up with a 20% discount. Nice. So shitloads coming to Game Pass. Thoughts, Bib?
Yeah. All about that Payday life. Lies of P, I watched the doc play that earlier this week, and it doesn't look necessarily like a game that I would be willing to spend money on, but that's the beauty of Game Pass, isn't it? It feels like we've just done a really hard sell of it this episode, because we've mentioned it so many times, but I am willing to give that a go. It can go onto the pile of, I might get round to it in the next 3 to 5 business years.
Yeah, I mean, if we are selling anything this episode, it's Xbox Game Pass, the whole thing, but PlayStation's better, so it is what it is. Yeah, there you go. Xbox, if you want to sponsor this episode, then I've just ruined it. I apologise. We can cut that bit out, right? Fine, nice. Okay. No, Xbox smashing it, genuinely. And Game Pass has been a bit weak recently. It's still the best deal in gaming, but if you've played all of the stuff that's the big stuff, then you've not really been having anything new. And that's the problem with the subscription services. Once you've consumed what you want from the library, you are at the mercy of new additions, new releases. And if there isn't any new releases to scratch your itch, then you're kind of a little bit screwed. You're paying for something for nothing in the hope that it gets good again. But with things like Lies of P, if that's your jam, Payday 3, if that's your jam, and Party Animals, which is your jam, then yeah, good month. You love to see it. Let's go, baby. And that is the end of the show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate you for dropping in once again. Do you know what? I've realised that I've got names here, and I've not used these for fucking months. Yeah, look, we have names on screen. Doosh. Yay!
Let's go.
So yeah, I have been Graham, and I still am, and he has been Bibby, but he definitely still isn't. We are Ice Cream Puffers. This has been the Scoop, and we appreciate you dropping in. We are going to finish up though. Party Animal stream when? Do you know what? That's a good point. Well, I'll have a look. See what we can do. See, Bibby's, buggering off and leaving us for a bit and that and stuff. So, we'll see. Yeah, we are wrapping up though. Thank you for joining us. We will be back tonight with some PUBG. Yay! And possibly tomorrow, maybe we'll see. Probably not. How long are you out for again, Bib?
What?
What are you doing?
No, I don't know. I fly early morning Friday, and then I'm not back until the following Saturday. So, yeah, I'm going to be out a while.
Fuck's sake, you don't even care about you guys at all.
Fuck you guys.
At all. I mean, it couldn't be me. Couldn't be me going to New York and fucking the Bahamas for like 2.5 weeks or whatever it was. Fuck this guy. Honestly. Yeah. So Scoop content once again could be mudded again next week. We'll see. I will still bring you the gameplay stuff alongside it. I'll see if I can throw in some things like Party Animals or whatever on it. Maybe we'll see. Speaking of games on that list, Payday 3 was in that as well. That is apparently something that we should be playing soon, thanks to our friends at PlayOn. So we'll see how we get on with that. Keep your eyes posted. We'll maybe playing Payday 3 at some point soon. So, I don't know, PUBG, Payday 3, Party Animals, Lies of P, with me, GD, on this SCOOP. Yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to fill it in because Tito did the shit amount, and I didn't want us to get the strikes on the YouTubes, so Tito just forced.
Well, I mean, you can do all of that MCing, but you can't say Xbox boss.
I know. It's certain letters.
Roundabouts, isn't it?
Like that. The shape of that in my mouth just doesn't work all the time, and going into L on something else just doesn't work all the time as well. I don't know what words or what letter it is. There's probably some linguists out there. Are you a cunning linguist? Nice. There's probably some linguists out there that could tell me, oh, that's the blah blah speech impediment or whatever that affects so many people. Or for me, Stupid words that I can't say. There's a few of them. Nice. Xbox boss. If I think about it, nailed it. But if not, yeah. So when I was dicking about earlier on, going Xbox boss, bot, Xbox, but because I'd added bot into the mix, I couldn't genuinely compute it. So there was no way I was trying to finish off by saying Xbox boss at the end, because I'd have been Xbox boss. So yeah. Anyway, we're going to disappear. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back tonight and tomorrow-ish, maybe. But we'll be back on the Cunning Linguist. Yeah, we'll be back on the weekend with... I'm glad you noticed it. With more games. So do feel free to join us then. But before that happens, Mr. Bibb, what's the crack?
Yes.
What else have you got to add? When are we going to see you again? Tell us all the stuff, mate.
So all of the stuff is potentially our last episode of The Scoop tomorrow. So if you want to help shape that up, there's 2 ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It says at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms.
Back for part 76,001 of The Scoop. Please do feel free to refresh. If you are watching this live on Twitch, hey, if you listen to this on demand, it might feel a bit staccato because hopefully my Sky is getting fixed within the next 4 hours and 10 minutes. We'll see. Bibby was just about to tell you what to expect from him if there's anything he wants to add or anything for the rest of the week. But I need to add in that when the internet went down then, Bibby went and froze. And I genuinely, it was perfect. He didn't fecking blink for about a minute. So I thought I was like, are you actually frozen? And then he started laughing. I was like, you fucking dick. so yeah, well done.
Hey, no one beats me at musical statues, bitches.
So yes, Bib, you were saying.
Again, you guys that know how we round this up, you want to help shape the shows, join the Discord, go into the links below. All the links that you require will be listed there, but spoiler alert, it's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. Jump into the Discord, the Scoop there, give us the URLs, plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow? Potentially, Mr. Graham Day.
10 a.m. Ish. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see. Might be 10 a.m. Might not be. Yes, stick around though. We are going to drop a raid on one of our friends. I'm not sure who is live, so we can't tell you who it's going to be. Spidge. And there we go.
Yes.
It was in nice and early, so it makes sense. We'll go say hi to Spidge. Please do feel free to stick around for that raid. You will grab yourself 250 sprinkles to spend on this channel, which you can save to change the lights if you want, to ask questions, although we don't usually charge you for that, and to play in the Double Trouble League if you want a little bit of that too. So please do feel free to stick around as we drop that raid. But from us, have yourselves a beautiful day. And from Bib, who's not going to see you for the next 75 bajillion years, what they got to do, Bib?
Stay frosty!